if you only know what you know and you only have the habits of what you have, you're just going to stay where you are.
Right.
Your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. If you've got the luxury of thinking, oh, maybe not, you're okay, you're too comfortable. So there's risks in everything you do. Someone might look, oh, you put 75,000, it's great. This building, 4 million. But you don't know the stuff that I went through.
I get messages all the time asking me how I went from 100,000 in bad debt to a $13 million portfolio. By watching this show every week, I will share exactly how I did it, how I achieved it, and the lessons that I've learned along the way. So do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel. It's simple, it's free, and it helps keep the show going for you. This is where you eat and we talk about changing the way that you think about money, with insights from successful investors, entrepreneurs, and everyday people taking control of their financial futures. So double check that you're subscribed, and thank you for being part of this journey. Welcome everybody to the Lunchtime Investor. Remember, what this is all about is you get to eat, we do the talking, okay? And we have got a very special guest here today. My buddy, my friend, Mac Attram, entrepreneur, businessman extraordinaire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Fantastic studio you got here.
Yeah, we do our best. Well, listen, I've known Mac for years. And actually, I just said entrepreneur. And actually, the title is, how one of the projects that you're working on is you turned 75K into 4 million. So don't tell us about it now.
Okay.
We really want to learn more about that in 18 months. Okay. But I just said to you, I said, businessman, entrepreneur. What would you say you are? Entrepreneur, businessman?
I think a bit of both. I think the definition of an entrepreneur is
somebody who's
somewhat, yeah.
Until they make it, exactly. If they don't quit.
There you go. It's someone who takes on an enterprise with elements of risk, with a chance of profit. Okay. So I'm not putting it quite well, but you're taking on this venture knowing there's risks, with a possibility of a profit.
But a businessman,
I don't know what the difference is. A businessman, businesswoman. But if you're looking at business or building businesses, I think that's probably different from being an entrepreneur, if you like.
When I think of entrepreneur, I do think about like startups, and then maybe not working out, then maybe the second or third one really work. If people don't quit, if they quit, then it's just like, well, it was a failure. But if they just keep going, because you learn. In fact, that's probably one of the topics we're going to be talking about today. Yeah, absolutely. So look, you're the CEO of MindSpace Coaching, award-winning, yeah?
Yeah, I won several awards for as a coach. So the UK #1 executive coach, Global Man Award, top trainer, whatever, from different organizations.
Whatever. I love that. So whatever there is, I've won it. I love that. That's good. That's good. Now you help entrepreneurs to grow anywhere between 20 to 100% in a year.
In a year. So typically the kind of people come to us are coaches, consultants, experts in that field. But they haven't set up their systems and processes properly. So we go through marketing systems, sales systems, how to do your leadership, how to set up your team, all that kind of stuff. And by getting them to set up the right way and having a team and be able to delegate, they can then grow and scale the business. Whereas a lot of them, the business just becomes reliant on them. They have to be doing everything.
It sounds to me that entrepreneurs that are real experts can become business people thanks to your systems.
Absolutely, exactly. They're helping them turn what we call from a business operator into a business owner.
Ooh, because most people, I'm guessing, are kind of owned by their business as opposed to.
So they've just created another job for themselves, if you like.
Well, actually, where they probably work a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're free, kind of. And you've also built and successfully sold several businesses as well. So it's not just some people, they're coaches because they've been on a coaching course, but you've done it, you've been there, done it.
Exactly. So I'm not teaching from theory. Yes, I have a master's degree in business administration, MBA, but I've actually built businesses, I've sold them, and I invest in businesses. So I'm not one of those coaches who just talks about do this or do this, some theory they've learned from school or learned from somewhere else. But this is real, down to the ground, what works in reality.
I love it. And by the way, I just thought of something. So when you, let's say, coach somebody and you think, yeah, they need a lot of help, right? But also, this is a really good person with a really good idea. Would you then maybe invest in that business, maybe?
Yeah, I've done that.
You have done?
Yeah, I've done
Because
that.
that just
yeah.
makes sense to me,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Right?
You know,
So, well, no, I don't, because you can choose, right? You're very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
successful. So you say, yeah, no, okay, I'll coach you because actually, and then maybe invest in the business.
absolutely. We had a student who came to my program, and he just was on fire. A lot of energy. A few years later, contacts me and said, "I'm doing this now. I need some help." So I start listening to what he's doing. So much so, I could see it all. And he's going to build a multi-billion dollar business,
B, with
not a multi-million dollar business. Thinking, I need a chunk of that. So I invested in it because one, because of him. Two, it's a great product.
Yeah.
It's a great product.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Wow. And also, apart from you're very healthy, because when we used to travel together, like in places like Italy, you used to, because we used to train at the Millionaire Mind Intensive. You're the lead trainer of T. Harv Eker Millionaire Mind Intensive, right?
I am, yes.
All over Europe, the world, etc.
All over the world, yeah.
And I remember that you didn't eat pizza and gelato when we were in Italy. Like, what is
Yeah,
that? You're very disciplined.
I did enjoy it just watching you eat it. I think, you enjoyed it. So.
I did enjoy it, but I think he might be healthier. But you're also a 6th Dan belt in what was it?
A 6th Dan black belt in Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, and your kids do it as well, right?
Yeah, all the whole family, my wife as well. They're all black belts in Taekwondo.
Right. I just got this image of all of you just beating the crap.
No, I think we all started doing it for. I mean, the kids started doing it for something to do. 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old.
Wow.
Now they've all left home, so it's quiet now. So a couple of them at university. But they are all regional and national champions.
Amazing.
And last year, my son became the European champion in his category. Martial arts I've been doing for over 43 years. Started at school. Why did I start? I was bullied a lot.
Over 43 now.
Yeah. And I was bullied a lot. But when I started martial arts, I think it gave me more confidence in myself, able to defend myself, and that bullying stopped. So that's something that's been with me for the majority of my life.
One word comes up. I mean, you just mentioned confidence. Amazing. I think because we used to teach things in school, like, things like saving and money management and compound growth. And I stopped doing that because what they really need is more confidence in themselves. But what really came up to me is one word, and that's discipline.
Right.
You are very disciplined.
People say that.
Is that where it comes from?
I think my martial art grounding, certainly gives me that. I think when I think about it, certainly, because it's those elements I've taken into my lifestyle, my family, the businesses I own and run. So I think it gives you a good grounding, and I think.
And do you think most people should teach their kids that, or sorry, not well? I don't know whether you taught them, but probably get them to do that as well. I don't know.
I think martial arts or some kind of adventure sport, endurance sport, something like that develops the character of the person. And when my children were younger, I didn't think about it till now, but them going through that actually, I think helped them a lot, because if you're on the mat and you're getting smacked in the face, you've got to start doing something. So you've got to get an alert. So in my son's case, I would say, put your hands up, move around. He wouldn't do it until he's been hit a few times. So suddenly, so where does that apply in life? Imagine watching your child, but they enjoyed it. And they didn't do it because I said do it.
They smacked in the face.
No, well, not that part of it, but they enjoyed working out and training with their instructors. And I think you could be a child who's very, very, when I was teaching martial arts many years ago.
Because you taught it as well.
Yeah. I used to have a school. I used to have a Taekwondo school, over 100 students. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I would have, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds come in, and then parents would say to me, sometimes they say, little Johnny, he can't do this, he can't do that. And I got to a place where I said, no, don't tell me anything. Leave it to me. I'll deal with it. And then what would happen is, a few months later, they're saying, oh, he's doing so well in school. The teachers are saying he's so well behaved. What's happened? And she would, a parent might say sometimes when he's misbehaving at home, well, I'll have to speak to Mr. Attram about it. And automatically the child corrects their own behavior.
Brilliant.
Because in the, we call it the dojang, in the training hall, there's ways of doing things. There's some etiquette. There's a way of speaking to other
I
people.
mean, the word discipline comes up again.
Discipline.
There's that discipline. There's discipline and discipline.
Absolutely.
I mean, wow. I mean, I wish I would have done more of that. I mean, I did rugby and stuff, but no, it's not quite the same. Not quite the same. Although we did it every day, etc. So listen, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're talking about failure and why failure is such a great teacher. Obviously, we want to know about your story. This is only one project, one of many. Obviously, everybody wants to know how you turned 75K into 4 million, but in 18 months. That's the key.
Yeah.
Because if you say, 20 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Maybe honing in on a few mistakes.
Sure.
And how you can turn those setbacks, into success. But I've got a question for you. Okay.
Go for it.
All right. You've coached entrepreneurs, budding business people worldwide.
Yes.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay. In your experience, what's the biggest reason that businesses fail? All right. Now we've got A, B, C, or D. Is it A, lack of funding? Okay. Is it poor planning? Is it the wrong team? Or is it a mindset-based thing like fear and mindset? What would you say?
Good stuff. I actually wrote a book on this. I wrote a book called Face It and Fix It. And that book, T.R. Becker actually wrote a forward on it.
The great T. Harv.
Yeah. The reason why I wrote that book, I had a failed business. And so when I was coaching people for many years, and I started seeing a pattern, and I wrote this PDF, and in those days, maybe about 15 years ago, I put it on various social media channels.
So he actually wrote it himself. This is not a chat GPT.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Okay. This was
exactly
back when. Yeah,
back in the day. And I discovered there's 43 specific reasons why any business fails.
Okay.
43.
Not 44.
43 specific reasons why any business. It's in a book, and it's a great book. It gives all the scenarios, different points, and then I'll give some case studies in terms of people who had failed businesses, turn them around, and I also give formulas and strategies and frameworks on how you can do the same. But if I was to narrow all those 43 down, some of them you got here, but one of them is around poor leadership, the inability to build a team, to delegate, to set the culture, set the vision, set the mission. The inability to market and do lead generation. Where are these leads going to come from? Not being able to do that, knowing that everything in your business starts with having a customer. Sales, not being able to sell, or your team not being able to sell or sell effectively. And if you're not able to do that, there's no cash flow. You're going to be in trouble. And the fourth one, which I think you got here, is poor planning. Poor planning. Okay. Not looking at the market or the trends or what's happening. Is there a demand for what you're trying to do, or are you sticking to it because that's all?
I know, but what are people supposed to do? Let's say you've got this, and do you know how interesting? In the top 4, you didn't mention product, because I think most people go, I've got this great product, I'm really good at this, and that's not even part of it. You can have somebody who's got a worse product, making a lot more money than you.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you think about it, you ask people sometimes, have you ever bought anything? Like later on, you took it home, took it to your office, started using it, and thinking, this is not very good. It's not very good.
Yeah.
So why did you buy it? Well, it's marketing. It was marketing.
Marketing and maybe
very good marketing and sales. But ordinarily, what we teach people is don't create poor, shoddy products and services. Yeah. But some people do. They got no morals, and they will do that. Yeah. So those are the 4. If I could really cut them down into those, and
categories. A couple of them seem to be around leadership, because you said poor planning, and then your number 1 was leadership. So really the buck does really stop. But let me ask you a question though, really, because you mentioned about seeing what competitors do, what the market does. Let's say you've got a really good product, and you're convinced, etc. But then after a few years, everything changes. Can you really change with it?
Well, one of our mentors says your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. And I then translated that into your business can only grow to the extent that you do. So unless you're growing yourself, you have a growth mindset, your business will come to a plateau, will stop. So if you want to grow to that next level, what does it take to grow to that next level?
So I
Well,
guess
you have to change.
Yeah, I guess.
Go and get coaching or mentoring or read the books of people who have gone to that level. What do they do? Because if you only know what you know and you only have the habits of what you have, you're just going to stay where you are.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess it's like having to, maybe that's too drastic saying reinvent, but then they think, oh, here we go again. Now I need to change again.
Well, it goes to your D point, which I probably fall under leadership, which is fear and mindset.
See, that was leadership again.
Yeah,
It's like leadership.
It is. It's self-leadership. It's leadership of other people. And some people have a fear-based mindset. And some people have a growth-based mindset.
Yeah.
That as an entrepreneur, you will know very quickly that not everything's going to work out the way you've planned it. So what do? Oh, something fails and you withdraw, or something fails and you restructure, you relook at it and go.
So failures are okay.
Failure is okay as as long as you're learning from it. Failure is not okay if you just sit in and wallow in it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So everyone sees the successes, the fortune, right? But let's look at the failures, since we just talked about it, that nobody talks about. So I'm going to play this video here, and you might want to grab this. We're going to play this here, which, Steve Bartlett, there we go. So let's have a look.
The reason why my first business failed is I was really romantic about my hypothesis. I was like, I'm going to make this product and I want it to be used in this way, right? So when new evidence came in from customers that were like, we don't actually like, I was, no, you know what I mean? And I did that for a couple of years until we ran out of money. Whereas what I really should have done, if I was not romantic about my initial hypothesis, is you use that feedback to redirect you and to develop a new sort of ever-evolving hypothesis. So yeah, with all my companies now, every single one of them, the thing I thought it would be when we sat down and we came up with the idea, even with ThirdWeb, which is, we just closed a 30 million round for ThirdWeb at 200 million valuation. We launched the business in December. We've just closed the fundraising round. What it was 12 months ago was a completely different idea to what it is today.
No, I have to tell you,
He's great, isn't he?
he is great. He really is, and he's really open and honest about it as well. That makes him really accessible. So the fact that the business now, valued at 200 million, is a totally different idea to where it started, is the total opposite to the way he started about being romantic about the product. So
That's right.
Let's talk about that. I mean, we almost did it just now.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's get to the basics of business. And when I'm teaching these entrepreneurs around the world, I get them to get back to basics in terms of, why does anyone give you their money? Why are they paying you? Why are they transferring money from their bank account to your bank account? Why are they getting their credit card out? Well, simply this: they have a problem that they don't want, and the result they want, but they don't have. So we've got to then start thinking, what is the problem then? What is the problem in the marketplace that people are willing to get their credit cards out and pay for? Because if you can do this, so whatever business you start, whatever idea, whatever concept you have, once you start it off, you'll see down the line that actually this is not going the way I thought it would. And if you're smart enough and you have a growth mindset, you'll listen to the marketplace. You listen to, it's like if you're saying, look, I'm going to be delivering this, I'm delivering it in green, I'm delivering it in green, I'm giving it to them in green. And the market's saying, no, I want yellow. I want yellow. No, I'm giving it to them green. I'm going to give it to them in green. No, I want yellow. I want yellow. So if you don't give it to them in yellow, where are they going? They're going to go to someone else who will give it to them in yellow.
Of course.
So I agree with Stephen. Whatever you start off, made a note here, the idea is just an idea. And many people, not entrepreneurs, many people have ideas about business, never start. It's just an idea. And when you start the business, now you're in the test phase. You're testing the market as to, is this idea real? And it'll be real when someone starts they give you their first dollar or their first pound. Now you're in business.
What do you think about this idea of selling the sizzle, not the sausage?
Selling the sizzle, not the sausage, simply means focus on selling the benefit of what you're providing rather than the features of it. So you could...
so in a way, less the products, more about how can they, because you were talking about problem, how can they solve that person's problem? Yeah,
because in that, you have to tell them you have to discover what their problem is. And if
The real problem.
the real problem, because they might think it's one thing. And sometimes they don't know they've got a problem until you present something. Oh, that's why I'm like,
This is complicated. How do you find that out? Because I heard about this thing is some people, they know they have a problem,
yeah,
but they don't know the solution.
Yes.
Some people come to you that know they have a problem and they know what the solution is. That's why they're coming to you.
yes.
And I think there's 4 of them, and I can't remember what they are. But you know, some of them think they know they have a solution, but they don't know that they have a problem, and whatever it is. How do you find out? When you say looking at trends, looking at feedback, I think that's what Stephen said. How do you get that feedback?
You get that feedback by opening your ears and listening and watching. Some organizations will do focus groups. Some people will do questionnaires and get forms out and get some kind of feedback as to what's working, what they like, what they don't like. And by listening, you can then adjust as you go.
It sounds like we need to be talking to our clients a lot more.
Definitely. And going back to your sizzle thing, like I said, it's about selling the benefit. Everyone wants a result. So if you can provide the result to them and you can show them how you're going to get the result, that is what they're looking for. You know, some coaches might say, you know, when you do coaching with us, we'll meet once a week. You'll watch all these videos. You'll do this, and we'll meet for 60 minutes. We'll go through all of these things. It sounds good, but that's not what they want. Nobody wants coaching. Nobody needs coaching, right? They don't want coaching.
No.
But look, then so instead of selling the features of it,
So what do they want then? They
want the results. So
but then you'll have to go in and do it yourself. You'll just say, okay, I'll do it for you.
So it might sound like this: by following our system, our process, and going through all of it, in the next 1 year, this is where you want to be. That's what you've said. That's where we're going to get you.
Okay.
Sell me the result.
Yeah.
Sell me the sizzle.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in I've got to meditate every morning.
that's
and all
true.
this.
I have to say that is so true. You know, so, and you get this, and you get this, and
Yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
give you this, and then
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of work.
That's
Whereas
right.
maybe we should have just focused on. By the way, this is the result.
So that you can have this. So this is that what you want? Perfect.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So, look, we talked about failure, and you said, yeah, but as long as you learn from it, then it isn't really a failure. So, feedback, early warning system, we discussed that. Adapting your product, maybe even your vision. Should you be like focusing on the competitors, or should you be focusing on the clients?
I think focus in your own lane. You know, a lot of people say stay in your own lane. Stay in your own lane. You've got enough going on in your environment, but you have to be aware of what's going on in the marketplace. You have to be aware of what your competitors are doing, but don't focus. They've got their own issues. So you got to focus on where you are going and how you're going to help those clients overcome their problems they're going through and get the results they want. And you might have a better way of doing it, but you've got to be aware of what the competitors are doing. So if you own a restaurant,
why though? Why do you have to be aware of the competitors?
so you can do it even
It's
better.
working.
So I can't remember who it was, but there's a restaurateur in America who was number 2. I can't remember what field, but number 2 all the time, number 2. And so he'll visit number 1 frequently and just see what they do well. But not only that, he's looking at what is missing, what they're not giving their client. And so then he became number 1 because he gave them the things that the other restaurant wasn't giving.
Yeah, right.
So you got to be aware of what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Staying open to new ideas. I'm getting, even if they challenge you.
Stay open to new ideas, but ultimately give the prospect or the client the result they want.
Yes. So it's interesting. You keep coming back to the basics, and the basics is, why is that customer client giving you the money?
Exactly. You
keep focusing on that.
As entrepreneurs, you will have ideas every day, right? And some will work, some won't.
Because that's exciting, man.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But you and I know that the most successful investors, most successful business owners, they have a system, the system works, they tweak it now and then, they don't disrupt it, as long as it's growing the right way. But new entrepreneurs, they want excitement. They want to change this. Oh, let's do this and let's do that. And if you want success, It's about finding a system that works and then just managing that system in a very effective way so you can get that constant and consistent result, not the up and
But
down.
again, what you're describing right now sounds like a businessman.
Yes.
And most entrepreneurs, they're like, well, I don't want to do that because that sounds a little bit disciplined,
Yes.
boring,
Yes.
tweak a little bit there, whereas they want to get out there and change the world. They don't want to be doing all that. It's interesting. So that's the difference between entrepreneur and business person.
Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And I remember one of my mentors years and years ago, when I was in that excitement phase and doing this and doing this. I've been an entrepreneur for 26 years. And I had a failed business. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But he said, if you want excitement, don't do that in your business. Get your business working, systemized in the right way. If you want excitement, at the weekends, go and jump out of an airplane. Go to the German Autobahn and drive your car backwards fast, 100 kilometers an hour.
Like
Go and get your, exactly. Go and do something that will give you the excitement, but don't take that out on your business.
Was that Blair or who was
that? Was Keith Cunningham.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah, Keith. Remember Keith?
You've got some heavy mentors there. Yeah, of course.
Keith Cunningham.
Apparently the original Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, yeah.
And also pivot fast.
Yeah.
Sounds easy. Pivot fast when something isn't working. It sounds easy, but
it's not
something
easy.
Tells me it's not.
It's not easy. I remember we've had our real estate property business for over 20 years. And most of that was buying, investing. It's not my full-time thing, but it's a big thing that we do. We've done for years, myself and my wife. So we have that company that runs very well. But COVID happened, and actually one of the businesses, we had several real estate businesses. One of them was a service accommodation business. A service accommodation business, like Airbnb, that kind of stuff. When COVID happened, people weren't traveling in, and we had buildings up in near Heathrow Airport, strategically placed. And then COVID happened, people weren't flying in. Wow, what do we do? Because we need this cash flow. What do we do?
I don't know. I'm guessing you pivoted. I don't know.
We had to pivot. So we had no choice because we would have been in serious trouble. And so the team got together, we discussed all of this and decided to call all the local councils, local government agencies, and what do you call it? The first aid, first responders, all these type of people, and told them this is available. So we negotiated some fees with them, and that's how we got out.
For who? The first responders.
First responders.
All right.
Councils who needed to house people.
Okay.
All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not our market.
But what's so interesting is that you pivoted because you had to.
No choice. Yes.
Yeah. But that's easier because you had to.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll. I mean, easy. With a gun to your head, it's not easy. But I'm saying is, something's not working, but it's kind of working, but it's kind of not working, but it's kind of working, it's not working. It's very different to if you don't do something right now.
Right, that's very different. And I suppose that's the mentality you have to take.
Right.
As if this didn't work at all and you had to pay your bills and you were going to come crashing down, what are you going to do? And so if you're sitting there thinking, oh, if you've got the luxury of thinking, oh, maybe not, you're not in a hurry. You're okay. You're too comfortable. Get yourself uncomfortable.
It sounds a bit like stagnation. Get yourself uncomfortable. So make it worse than it is in a way.
Yeah, from your mind, from your own mind, make it worse than it is, so that you can actually take some action on it. Otherwise, if you're too comfortable, why would you? See,
how do you get your team to follow that? Because you might say, right, I've just heard Mac talk. I'm inspired. I'm going to do that. And then the team is like, what does he want now?
Right. So as the leader, you've got to set the vision. You've got to embody that vision. You've got to set the goals and the targets with your team. And one of the things we have, and I think we've talked about this before, is creating the right culture in the environment, in the company. And the way I do that is through the code of honor. By establishing a strong code of honor. And if one of those code of honor is just a set of rules that govern the behavior, govern the behavior of individuals on a team. So yes, it's values, but it's values manifested into reality.
Yeah.
Because you could have your own set of values. I'll have my own set of values. Someone else might
So they have to be written down.
They have to be written down, and everyone has to abide by it. So if one of those values, one of those rules says something along the lines of we strive to be the best, or whatever it is, then we all live in by that.
What if you don't? What if somebody doesn't?
Well, then don't have them on your team.
Don't have them on your team. Can you keep referring to the values?
Keep referring back to the values and the code of honor. This is us. This is what we do. This is what we've all subscribed to. And if
it's kind of a nice way of giving feedback as well, isn't it? Because instead of attacking somebody, you can say,
the code of honor says,
a code of honor number 3.
Yeah,
it's kind of a nice way of giving feedback.
That's what it is. Because unless, in the absence of rules, people make up their own rules. In the absence of rules, what do we have? Chaos, anarchy. But when you have a code of honor, a set of rules, that becomes the reference point that no one can debate. So we agreed to this, and everyone's living by this.
We're back to leadership again, aren't we?
That's what it is.
Tell you, wow, okay, wow. The buck stops here. Wow,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, I don't know whether we can show this anywhere, but this is somebody by Serious Gas. I mean, the names every week, they just kill me.
Serious Gas.
So the first business failure, it says, just wanted to share a bit of my journey with entrepreneurship. At 18, I took a leap into my first business. That's
screwed. That's brave, 18.
Yeah, and it didn't go as planned. Yes, I faced failure and it came with a financial setback, but I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. Now, this is really interesting because, you know what? Would you expect the first one to be successful at the age of 18 if you've had no experience?
You see, I think this is very good. I think, thank you. Well done, Serious Gas 1203. Absolutely. I think well done, because if you start your business 18 and you fail, now you've learned how not to do it. This is the time to jump back on the horse and go again.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just building that experience. Just building that experience over and over again will get you there. This is not the time to quit and run off and do something else. This is I'll say I'm so happy for you that this has happened.
Yeah.
Because had you succeeded and then failed later on, maybe at 28, it may hit you even harder.
Yeah.
It may hit you even harder, thinking you're a failure. Maybe it's not you. It's just didn't learn.
Interesting. So do you think that people should start much earlier? Because I'm thinking, I've had this one business for the last 21 years, okay? And anything could happen.
True.
And then I'd be like, oh my goodness me. Whereas this person at the age of 18, 19, 20, they can just go again and go again and go again.
Definitely. I agree. I started my first business at the age of 30 after working for 3 corporations over a 10-year period.
Okay.
I started mine. So, knowing what I know now, I'd have started earlier. I'd have started way before I got married, way before I had children. I'd have started and really, when it's great to start then, because when you've got no major responsibilities apart from yourself, you can dedicate the time. I think we all go through seasons. There's seasons where maybe you're studying, you're at college or whatever. There's a season when you start your employment, or there's seasons for everything. Season when you find your girlfriend or boyfriend. Season when you get married or you have children. Seasons when they've all left. There's seasons.
Sure.
And I think there's a season where you have a lot more freedom to explore, go on that adventure.
Okay, but okay, so this is really interesting. So do you think somebody should go and work for somebody else, not for the money, right? I'm not talking about a job or career. I'm talking about work for somebody else to get that experience, maybe in what they think they might know.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, maybe at that age, but just in that direction.
Yeah.
What worked, what didn't, and then start something.
I think it's a good idea. I call that mentorship.
Okay.
I call that apprenticeship. Many, many years ago, people, to get into a certain career, you went through some kind of apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I think they're bringing that more and more now. But if you have an idea, you want to take my son, for example. He's just started university 2 weeks ago. He's studying computer engineering. He knows he wants to start his own business at some point. And so he's going to do exactly what you said. Learn. He's got to go to. He said,
So
Dad,
do I? In with a different mindset.
Yeah, he says, Dad, do I really need to go to uni? I said, it's up to you. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So What is it you want to do? Well, I want to build this type of business. I want to do this and this. Okay, good. So do you know how to do it? Well, so what knowledge do you, so go through all these questions. What knowledge do you need to have? In the end, he talked himself through that. Actually, he has to go to uni to learn the technique.
To go to uni or not?
I don't mind. I want him to be happy and successful in whatever he chooses to do.
You just ask great questions like a coach?
No, exactly. So I nurture him the right way.
His own
conclusion. Exactly. Not me telling him, because there's nothing worse than forcing your child to go and do something. And they might quit after a year or two. But my job is just to nurture that for him to make up his own decision. And this is one of the conversations we had. I said, once you've got the qualification or the knowledge you need, then you might want to go and work for an organization, see what happens, see how things are done from a customer's point of view, from a processes point of view. And when you start yours, it might be use it as a mentorship process.
Very good. But we are very proud of this 18-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
So what's she saying, or he?
He, she, gas, don't know. The lessons I learned from this failure have been invaluable. It's easy to focus on the losses, but what's more important is what I gained in terms of knowledge and resilience. Oh, not just what to do and what not to, but also resilience. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm using this setback as a stepping stone for my next venture. I think this person has just got a great mindset.
Very, very. I think, whatever environment, that doesn't come by accident. He or she's in an environment where entrepreneurship is, I think it's promoted or it's spoken about, right? Because to have that kind of mindset, you have to be around those type of people. Mm-hmm. There are people who don't have this type of mindset. They are around people who talk about just going to college or starting work or working for this corporation or that corporation. It's a different language. Mm-hmm. It's a different language. So this thing here, I think that he or she goes further and say, I'm at a bit of a roadblock. I don't know if I should go to college and get a bachelor's degree or pursue other options. I really need to find a good mentor, but I'm very introverted. So that is.
So what would you say?
For me.
Would you say, what should they do?
You're
the mentor now.
Yeah. I would really have a discussion with this person to get to understand what is it they really want. Why did they start at the age of 18? There was something that happened that maybe they decided that, reading between the lines, somebody's saying to them, look, this hasn't worked. So go to college, right? It could be a parent, it could be a guardian, it could be someone. But I would say, you started at 18 as an entrepreneur, didn't work. Yes. And here's where self-leadership comes into. So there's something you don't know. If your business doesn't reach where you want it to go, there's something you don't know. That is knowledge you can acquire, whether it's through a mentor, or through books, or through seminars, or through workshops. You can acquire, you run workshops, you run seminars. So people who don't have that, they can come acquire that knowledge and apply that to their business. So this is just about studying. And when you study from a mentor or from a seminar, you'll start realizing, this is where I went wrong. And you can then apply it and then go again. Mm-hmm. So at this juncture, I would say go and learn about entrepreneurship. In my very first business, which was failing for various reasons, I later on realized there was so much I didn't know about business. so much. And at the age of 30, I started running this business. Within a few years, my business partners had cheated on the business.
And they did what? They
cheated on the business. So they stole money. In other words, they ordered. So it was a computer IT company.
Okay, but you can't. But I mean,
but here's what I didn't have in place. So now they disappeared. Now the whole thing's down to me. I'm working 18, 19 hours a day. I'm burning out. My wife is now pregnant with our second child. In a few short years, I'm running around everywhere trying to run my business. And it wasn't working. Now, knowing what I know now, there were some things that wasn't in place from a structural point of view, from an entity point of view, from a legal point of view, from a code of honor rules point of view. All these things weren't in place because I trusted everything would be okay. So when you learn how to do business the right way, things become
so you think
much
it
easier.
Wouldn't have happened then? Do you think if you would have had
if I had some certain controls in place, it would have been better.
So
I didn't know what I knew.
I'm not saying you're blaming yourself, but you're saying that you a better version of you could have prevented that.
Yes.
So we're back to leadership again.
Yeah. And it's because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
I really didn't know
But
what
you
I
don't
didn't
know what you don't know, though.
That's the point. And this is what I'm saying to serious guests, that you don't know what you don't know. And so you might be an introvert, doesn't matter, or extrovert, it doesn't matter. Some of the richest people on our planet are introverts.
You look at Branson.
So, yeah.
You think
Warren
he's
Buffett.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. So when people say, "Oh, I'm just an introvert," no, that use that. There is something about you, that quiet, diligent. Use that. So, like one of our mentors, I keep saying this, says reasons or results, excuses or results. So don't use that as a reason not to do business.
It's interesting how this person here has labeled themselves, and that for them, their perspective is equals I can't.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe you find a mentor who actually doesn't want a really loud, but wants somebody who's more think through, is a little bit introverted. etc.
Exactly.
Interesting. Really, really interesting. So failure looks like could be a teacher. Does that mean people need to fail more and faster and just, more often?
I think embrace it. Because if you don't embrace it, what happens is if you fail, some people then believe that failure was them. Yes, you could have, changed your mindset, you could have grown, but sometimes it's out of your control. And I'm talking about identity right now. You are not your business. You are you.
Okay.
You are one entity. Your business is another entity.
But you don't want that to be mixed together?
No, you own that business. That's where we're trying to get you to. You are in control. You're trying to control that business you can, but you are not the business. What I mean by that is there's some people who, with all good intention, have spent years, 20 years, 30 years building their business. The market turns, the economy changes, they lose. There's so many examples where they've lost millions or they've lost billions and then just jumped off a cliff or just killed themselves. Why? Because they tied their identity to the business.
Well, with all the blood, sweat, and tears
that you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got to realize that you are one entity. Your business is another entity. You are running that operation as a separate entity. It's not you. It's put the right systems, the right processes in place and everything else. And if it's not working, you've got to know or get advice or help as to when to shut it off or cut it down or move or pivot into something else.
Pivot, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then therefore that could be a stepping stone.
Yes.
Rather than a failure. God, what a difference. This is a failure as opposed to this is a stepping stone if we apply whatever lessons that there are.
Definitely.
And then you mentioned mentorship a couple of times.
Yeah.
Mentorship matters. I mean, maybe this is an obvious question, but why? Why can't you figure it out yourself? Why?
Well, you can, and there's lots of entrepreneurs who have figured it out themselves. But you will only grow. You'll only grow to the extent of your own knowledge or ability. But nobody needs mentorship. Nobody needs coaching. Only the people who are ambitious. Only the people who have set some really high goals. Who said, I want to be there. It's like
not stupid people that need a coach. It's actually only, I love the way you said, so it's only the people that really want to achieve big things.
Absolutely. Because if you think about some of these world-class athletes, I love athletics. And so you decide you want to win the Olympic gold medal at the next Olympics. It's 4 years. You've never done it before. You have a feeling you could. So how are you going to figure it out? Well, what you got to join an athletics club. All right, hopefully you'll have a good coach there. If you don't, and they not, find another coach who's helped people get there.
Mike, I have to tell you though, when people talk about coaches, right?
Yeah.
It's always about athletics, sports, and whether it's basketball or something, a coach. But in business and life, it's like, oh yeah, well, I don't really need a coach. Like even a career coach. Why don't you get a career coach? Only if you want to earn the big bucks.
Only.
I love that.
Only. So if you're earning $50,000 a year and you decide I want to earn $150,000 a year, and you have the skill set, you have the qualifications, you have all of that, then find a career coach who can guide you as to how you can make that happen. And that may mean that they listen to you, they help you tweak your CV.
People don't want to pay the money.
You don't want to. Well, think about it. It's an investment. Yes, you may not want to pay the money, but it's an investment in what? An investment in you. And what's the best investment you could ever make?
It has to be
in yourself, because you have that knowledge now. that's never going to go away. That's going to be with you, hopefully, if you're applying it for the rest of your life. So the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. If you've never achieved something and you want to, get someone who can help you to get there.
If it saves you time, frustration, absolutely.
It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut to the result you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's a shortcut.
Yeah.
You can spend 10, 20 years trying to figure out yourself. You might get there. Or a shortcut which says, well, in a year or 2 years' time, it's got me there.
Do you think the coach, because the difference between a mentor and a coach,
Yes.
the mentor's done it, whereas a coach does the coach necessarily?
Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily.
So with coaching, yeah, I agree with you. A mentor's done it. And what the mentor will do, will say, look, if I were you, I'll do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, this way. And yeah, you can follow advice. But a coach is more around supporting, asking good questions, by the way, supporting you in what you want to do and holding you highly accountable.
That's, I think, the missing piece, the accountability.
It's the accountability.
Because a mentor doesn't necessarily have the time to hold you accountable.
No, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. But the accountability is what a lot of people are missing. And with the accountability and someone breathing down your neck in a loving way, obviously, you're going to move forward.
Yeah, you have to. Because you know that, Wednesday at 9 a.m., I need to have done that by. Well, Tuesday evening, you're up until midnight doing it.
Getting it.
Which you wouldn't do for yourself.
Exactly.
Isn't that weird?
It's strange, isn't it?
More than for yourself.
Exactly. And I think there's something in the human psyche that we don't want to let someone else down. We don't want to let someone else down. We're paying good money for it. We don't want to let them down.
Okay, let's talk about this because everyone's waiting for this, right? So how did you turn 75,000 into 4 million? And by the way, if there's people out there that go, well, I don't have 75,000. Okay, then 7.5 into 400,000. It's still amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you do that?
I'll give you some background on that, because when I say that, people think, oh, but I acquired the knowledge on how to do that. So for many years, my wife and I, in our real estate business, we're doing a lot of buy-to-lets, buying properties, letting them out, buying properties. And about 5 years ago, I learned a strategy about, just higher margins. So acquiring land, acquiring property, acquiring commercial property and redoing it and refurbishing it and renting them out. So our strategy has always been to rent out. So when I learned this strategy, first time I did it was a piece of land that we found, and 70,000 of my own money went in. Then I discovered that as long as I've got a good business case, someone else will lend me the money to develop on that land.
Always?
Always. Because, there's plenty of money around.
Interesting.
The money needs to go somewhere. Where's it going to go? You. So as long as there's a business case and wherever organization agrees to it, then I borrowed some money and I borrowed about 250,000, and I built this 3-bedroom property. And a 3-bedroom property around the Bromley area, it's like 700,000. So good margin. So I thought, okay, let's do it again. So we started looking and then I found another property about a year later. And this is how it went. I was looking everywhere, couldn't. Then it was through auction. And this auction company was advertising this property for 750,000. So not property, it's a piece of land.
Right.
This was it was
piece of land
part of a car park. Yeah, it's part of a car park that this company was selling. Okay, so then I bid, and as you know, as it hits, you got to pay 10%.
Okay.
Right, 75,000.
Yeah.
So I paid and then because I'd already been speaking to some finance companies.
Well, that's about 75,000. It was the first 10%.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So 75,000, my own money, 75,000 in, or the company money, 75,000 in, through an auction. So now the auction company want the rest of their money, right? So I've got X amount of days to do that. So, but before I bid, I already lined up with a finance company to make sure they could finance it all. So here's the thing. They said, we will fund the full purchase of the property, and we'll give you the commercial loan to develop the property. So, okay. So this is what happened in the first one I did anyway. And so now I borrowed 2.6 million. The within 18 months, I'm not a builder, but the building goes up.
What do you mean
We get
building goes up?
we're a construction
Building
company.
goes up.
So we have a construction company, and the construction company do what they need to do. We build these apartments, and within 18 months, the building was finished and refinanced and everything else. The value of the property now is 4 million. I only put 75,000 in.
Right.
But here's the thing, and before people jump in, oh, I can do this, it takes a different type of mindset to do that. And people are doing this all the time with even bigger projects than what I'm doing. And if you don't have the right knowledge, and if you don't have the right risk appetite, there's no way you'll do something like this.
Well, what's the worst that can happen here?
What's the worst that can happen is
Did
the
you
project
have planning permission, for example?
Oh yeah. The planning. Well, I bought it with planning permission.
You bought it with planning permission?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my risk was a bit lower because I know what I'm doing. The risk, but even after we acquired the land, we started developing, some other ugly things started to rear in its head. So there's risks in everything you do. So someone might look, oh, he put 75,000. It's great. This building, 4 million. But you don't know the stuff that I went through in between that.
I know. The thing is, you don't know what you don't know. You said it yourself.
Absolutely. And had I not had the right mindset, the right knowledge around financing, around building, around planning permission, around all these things, then that could have been a disaster.
But you had to learn that.
I had to learn that.
You probably did well, you gave us an example. Did you do
low risk
before that?
Yeah.
Then you tried one on a house. Then you do this one.
Correct.
And then the next one might be the same or a little bit bigger. And
exactly.
before you know it, and you do this in this country and other countries as well, right?
Yeah. So I do that particular strategy. I've been doing that in this country. Yeah. But we develop and own properties in other parts of the world as well.
Yeah. But like up and coming ones where, let's say in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, people will be going, oh, somebody owns this building in the center of, that's people like him, right? So it's people like you doing it now,
Absolutely.
helping those countries grow, which is...
Yeah. Because, one of the joyous thing is like driving through that part of London and saying to the kids, that's our property today, isn't it?
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard work, and nothing that is worth doing is easy.
Nothing that is worth doing is easy.
No. If you want that Olympic gold medal, it's not going to be easy.
Oh, okay.
You want that multi-billion-dollar company, it's not going to be easy. You want that business to grow from here to here, it's not going to be easy. But is it worth it? Yeah. What are you going to get at the end of it? Well, you're going to have this, you're going to have the lifestyle you want, you're going to have the money you want, you're going to have the family you want. It's not easy. But is it worth it? Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. Amazing. By the way, we went from entrepreneurship stroke business to property. Do you see property as business?
Yes. I see my property businesses as businesses. I'm not, in the early days when we started off, we were just buy to let, and then we turned that into a business. And my wife is the head of that business. She's so smart. You know my wife, Linda. She's so smart.
Yeah.
But I love doing the deals.
I think she's there, Mac.
Yeah. Because she's so detailed. Dot the I's, cross the T's.
Yeah.
She's amazing. But I love doing the deals. Once I do the deals, she takes over. She is so she does all the due diligence. So good at what she does.
Yeah,
which
I
is
can imagine over these spreadsheets.
Yeah. She loves all the numbers, and this doesn't add up. We shouldn't do this. Go here. But it's a team, isn't it? Exactly. You can't do it all on your own. If you want to go far, then make sure you have a team going with you.
And just quickly, do you have employees in that business, or is it just the two of you?
No, we have employees in that business.
You have employees?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do?
They do. One of them does what's called the research.
Okay.
The
what for things like, where's the next auction? Where's the next?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The auctions are very, very dangerous, actually.
You
you got to know what you're doing. But we're constantly looking for property sites, building sites that we can add value to, because adding value is what's really, I think, helped me to create the fortune that I've created. It's just by looking at the opportunity and say, okay, where do we add value to this? And even better, if someone else is paying for it. So I've got this building, 4 million, that really, taking some of my money out.
Mhm.
It is spitting out 15,000 cash flow every month.
So £15,000 a month in cash flow as well,
Yeah.
as the valuation which you own.
Yeah.
That is a double whammy.
Well,
In a good way.
absolutely, in a very good way. And that
Yeah.
But again, what do you want, and what are you willing to work at to create the thing you want?
Nice. I love the way you came back round to that. So let's break down some failures then and mistakes. So Mac, this auction thing, right?
Yeah.
So what makes a good auction?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I don't like auctions
Why?
because there's so many variables and the thing, and at times
What do you mean?
people
Like you don't know what you're really getting.
you don't absolutely, and so whoever's selling it can have lots of things hidden from you, and you won't find out until you're in
Well,
it.
you can't get your. Well, hold on. If they sold you like some duff thing, can you not get the money back?
No.
Oh, flip
Once it hits, you've committed your 10%, and then you've got to pay the rest of the money. Which I think is in 30 days or whatever it is, but you've got to pay all that money back.
Do you have time to do your due diligence?
Otherwise, you're not getting that 10% back.
Yeah, well, that might be a bit.
You have some time to do your due diligence.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Real case study, where now I've paid this 75,000 for this piece of land, and later on, as buildings, we're breaking ground and doing what we need to do. The construction company tells me, this building borders on this electrical substation,
Yeah.
and the electricals are running right through your under what would be your underground of your building going to this other building. I said, yeah, and what's the problem? We can't build on it.
You can't put the foundation.
We can't, because you're going to cut into the wires and you're going to stop the electricity in the local area. So I'm scratching my head now and thinking, it sounded like a good deal. And he said, the only way you can do it is you would have to do this, this, and this. It'll cost you $250,000.
Oh, here we go.
Right? It costs you $250,000.
Here we go.
And I'm thinking, what are we going to do? But he was so good that he said, okay, what? So he thought about it. And I'm thinking, I've got to raise another $250,000. That's going to eat into the margins. It's going to be so tight. In the end, because he's so smart and he'd been building for 30 years, he said, we're going to do this bridge thing. We're going to take it around there. We'll do this. So then we got the electricity company involved. They gave us permission. They didn't have to. We found a way around
it. It's your land.
It's my land. And, but I'm just giving you
Sure. They could have said, screw you. Yeah. I mean, I guess. But then you could have said, screw you.
All the cabling have to be redone in a different way, rechanneled. But we found a way around it. It was tough.
How much did you have to raise extra?
No, I didn't.
No,
it was okay. Actually I had to find 50,000. I had to find 50,000 because and this wasn't in the auction details when you do your due diligence, because the substation was X amount of meters away from the building. So now we have to put up what's called a firewall. If I tell you something, Marcus, the size of this, but we had to pay 50,000 for the electricity company to come and put up a firewall.
Well, you had to pay them.
Yeah, to come and put up a firewall.
Why didn't they put it up in the first place?
Exactly, because there was no building. It was a car park before.
I see.
So there's all these little things that happen that unless you have conditioned yourself in a way that, as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be risks.
Yes.
As an investor, there's going to be some risk. How do you minimize your risk? Through knowledge, through having the right system to follow, and discipline yourself to follow that right system, knowing that if something goes wrong, okay, how have you mitigated that risk?
But even then, something can come up, right?
Even then.
And this growth mindset, or this mindset of whatever happens,
yeah,
I'll be able to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's the attitude you have to have, because otherwise you'll crumble very quickly. And this, when we were talking about, can't remember his name now, but it's about resilience. Coming back, persistence, going again.
Yeah. In business, the mistakes to avoid, I'm guessing, is chasing quick wins, would you say?
Yeah. Anything that lasts doesn't come from a quick thing. I mean, it's all right to have quick wins, but if you have a long-term vision, then go for that long term, because anything that is short term can be very short lived. In the sense that you'll have people sometimes talking about some quick get rich quick scheme thing, and if you don't know much about it and people are in it could, yes, you might make some money now, but is that sustainable for the next year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years?
If it sounds too good to be true,
It often is too good.
Is.
It often is too good.
Having a system. What's the difference between a system and a process? Because you mentioned systems.
You know, when I turned my business, that first business, like a computer company I was telling you about, the ability to turn that business around, when I look at it in hindsight, was two things, and I'll come to your question in a minute. Getting mentorship and having the right systems to follow, which is what created my turnaround. So I learned about business. So what is the difference between a system and a process? Well, a system is made up of various processes.
So let's say that again. A system is okay.
Right.
So you got process 1, process 2, process 3, and all of that could be the system.
Creates a system. So when someone buys a McDonald's franchise, they are buying what? A business system that works. Right. So that business system spits out money to them every single day, week, month. But what are they really buying? Well, there's a process of making this type of burger, another process of making this type of burger, process of cleaning the thing, process of hiring, the process of so you're buying that business system in order to get that consistent result every single day.
And does every business have a system and processes?
Well, for the majority of businesses, the business owner is the system, unfortunately.
Ooh.
So what we teach people is how to implement the right processes and systems in the business. So if something happens to you, the business can continue. If that makes sense.
But these aren't off-the-shelf processes.
No.
They have to work out.
They have to. So we teach business owners what systems and processes to start building. Right. So systems around the marketing, systems around sales, systems around their own leadership and team hire. So all these systems then can create freedom. So it moves you, setting up all the right systems moves you away from being the business operator where you are there doing everything to eventually being the business owner.
Yeah. Because
the system is working apart from where.
And how has AI impacted processes? Or is it too early?
I think it's still early days, but if you are not adopting AI, you are going to be left behind.
Yeah, but are you talking about just like using ChatGPT, or you?
No, I'm talking about one of my friends, a couple of my friends now actually, showed me systems that we started to look at bringing in. So whereby someone rings your office, phones your company, as somewhat an AI bot, an AI agent they call them, will have a full conversation, leading them to either buying or, in other words, parting with their money, or speaking to someone in real life to finalize the last bit. But all from the appointment setting, from the lead generation, from a lot of the fact finding, depending on what business you're in, can be done by agents, and then sales closed.
So they're amazing, and they're working 24/7.
24/7, absolutely. So
no holidays, no sick pay. Amazing.
Exactly. So it depends on what business you're in. Find out what AI agents you can start putting into your business. One, to make it more efficient. Two, it becomes another system. And three, you don't have to worry about sick pay and people not following the rules.
Yes. Because that's where some processes break down. What about scaling too fast? Because people want to grow fast, right? So can you scale too fast?
You can scale too fast. It's
crazy, yeah.
Where some incidences where we've coached a company who they scaled too fast and fell down very, very quickly. So we had to help them to redo it. And whereby the owner was very good at sales and marketing.
He's selling too much.
Very good.
The operations
couldn't keep up. The operations couldn't keep up.
Gosh, what a great problem to have.
Yeah. So now, it's a great problem. But if you haven't got your back end, your operations set correctly, then things are going to fall apart. And that's what happens. So customer complaints, people asking for their money back. Yeah. So you can scale too fast, and you've got to scale at a level that is sustainable. So when people say to me, Matt, when do I hire new people into the business? Well, hire them just before you need them. Don't hire them when you need them. It's too late. So whether it's 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, hire them knowing that this growth phase you're going through is sustainable because you've got the right systems and this is what's happening, and get them in place. So by the time you really go forward, they're already doing what they need to be doing.
Nice. What about not reinvesting? Like you've made some profit,
Mm-hmm.
you want to live the good life,
Mm-hmm.
or reinvest into the business?
Yeah. I think there's nothing wrong with living a good life, but think about the future of the business. Where do you want to take this business? Because by having that clear vision, then that will determine how much of those profits you're putting aside towards the growth phase. So I think it depends what you want. Some people get to a certain level, they don't want to grow anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. But some people want to grow, then it's not just about taking that money and buying things you don't, just luxuries or going on more vacations.
When you talk about knowing what you want, do you think any business can exit, like the business owner can exit, if they have systems and processes in place?
Can any business owner exit? Really, one of the things we teach is this: if, like this company that I've invested in, we've already mapped out who's going to sell the business to.
Okay.
Right. So that becomes clear in terms of who we're selling it to. What do we need to do for it to be attractive to them? So the whole thing is built on the premises of selling it for multiple billions. But more often than not, some people set up their business just to pay the bills, to exist. And then if the business does well, it starts growing the right way. And then if you haven't thought about an exit plan, you may have set up the business the wrong way, which doesn't become attractive to the possible buyer, or you won't find a buyer.
People, they don't really know like who they're going to sell
They don't.
to.
They don't.
It's complicated.
They don't, and it's not their fault, because most people start their business to pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what we're saying and what we're teaching is, let's start strategizing in terms of what is the exit.
Yeah, most people don't think about the exit. They either to pay the bills or to escape their boss.
Yeah.
Or because they've got a good product. It's not like, right, to exit in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I started my business to escape my boss. I didn't get along with him.
Yeah.
So, and that's what happened. And I didn't think about it that way. So in my first business, it was failing. I learned about business. I fixed it and I sold that business. And then I started investing in other businesses, doing real estate.
And the rest is history. Mike, after all your years of coaching, but also business.
Yeah.
What would you say for entrepreneurs is their biggest kind of fear about failure?
Biggest kind of fear around failure, I think.
There's a couple there: losing money, wasting time, letting others down, never recovering.
I think often it's the not being able to pay the bills. In other words, lack of cash flow.
Okay.
So we know that when you have a lack of cash flow, that's when the stress happens. Because if you're worried every single night, I've got to meet payroll, I've got to pay these people, I've got to pay, so not.
Doesn't it also make you incredibly inventive? And do you remember the example that you gave when you had that gun to your head and you had to do? So I know it stresses people out, but doesn't that also make you extremely resourceful and?
For some people,
creative?
yes.
For
some people, yes, because they built that way. For some people, they crumble. And so, sometimes they come to us and I don't know what to do, because you know what it's like. If you're running your operation and you're not in charge of and you're doing lots of different things, you don't have the time to take the helicopter view. So, okay, strategically, if I did this, actually cash flow would be better. So sometimes just hand-holding or someone directing you the right way and looking at the numbers. So some of the activities we do, some of our business owners, is list all the different products and services, which one actually generates the biggest margin, which one should really focus on. So which one takes a lot of the time and energy. And if we can manage that more efficiently, you actually have more money. And some of them not even collecting the invoice. They send out the invoices, they're not collecting it quickly. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So I think it's a lot around, my experience, a lot around money and not making enough money, not being able to sell, not being able to convince other people to buy your stuff, leads to failure.
Well, a lot
as
of
well.
people don't actually like selling
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Not many
they
people.
attach something to that word.
They attach rejection to that word. If I go out and sell, if I go and ask this person for money, they might say no. And what happens is they psychologically, when someone says no, they see it as a rejection of them, a personal rejection.
Yeah.
And what we say is, don't do that. I was teaching over the weekend. I was teaching exactly that. So it's not a rejection of you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's an objection. In other words, there's something that they want to hear they haven't heard. There's something they need to see they haven't seen. Maybe they got a specific problem that you actually haven't answered, or maybe the objection is around money or time or when or will it work for me. You got to find out what the objections are and answer that, address that. Because especially if you,
so you're saying people kind of say no, okay then.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And then they run.
That's
as
what happens.
opposed to maybe saying, okay, under which circumstances would you be? And ask. And coming back to what you said before, ask the customer, what's their real problem? What's the real challenge?
Exactly, and then find out what the objection is. Knowing going in that it's not a rejection of you, because the reason why they're talking to you is certain things have to happen. One, they have the problem, whatever that problem is. Two, you have the right product.
Mm-hmm.
Three, you position it the right way. Now they're talking to you or on your website, deciding to buy or not to buy. If you're clever enough, you'll put these objections, they think in it and you put it in.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, and so you ask them, so Marcus, what's stopping you buying this today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's too expensive. I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I understand. So what could we do that may make it easier for you to buy?
Right, so it's not a rejection.
It's not a rejection of you, but some people say, oh, it's too, some people, as soon as they hear, oh, it's too expensive, can't afford it.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, if you don't like
if you don't like
being
sales,
rejected.
exactly, you've taken it as a rejection. And what happens in the moment that you take it as a rejection, in the moment they say that, your emotions go high. You think, oh, it reminds you of time when the teacher said something, or someone tripped you up at school, or you fell down, or your girlfriend rejected you. It's like, oh, all this comes, and now you can't think straight. And what I just said, which is very sensible. Okay, Marcus, so what can we do? You won't even think of those words because you're stuck in this emotional trigger.
Yeah.
That's now suddenly holding you back instead of just breathe.
So I guess practice.
It takes practice.
It takes practice. Everyone can practice, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so if we have a look at the investor's mindset versus an everyday person, which side do you want to take? Why don't you take investor?
How investors' mindsets differ.
I'll take everyday person.
Okay.
All right. So for me, it would be, fear of failure, therefore I'd quit. One setback feels like the end, or taking it personally.
Yeah, I think as an investor, every loss is a lesson. I've had losses, but I've had more victories than losses. And every time I go even higher, there's things that come up.
Have you had more, or is it just when you have that win, that victory, it's so much bigger?
Absolutely, it's so much bigger that it makes those losses maybe not insignificant, but it's not as big.
Absolutely. Chasing hype, everyday person following trends without a strategy, because it seems like the latest thing I should be jumping onto, whether I agree with it or not. What would you do as an investor?
I would not invest in anything that I haven't got the education in.
Okay.
Get the education first. That education says now there's a system. Follow the system. If the system works, follow the system.
I just remembered, you did our crypto course with your kids.
Yes.
Are they still
during COVID? Yeah. My so during COVID, spoke to you, and the kids started your crypto course, and they bought cryptos. They sit on it, but the only one who's actively doing anything with it is Brandon, my son.
Okay.
He loves all these. He
Yeah.
loves maths and all this. He's 18 at the moment.
Nice.
So he's still So thank you for that. That's really.
And he must have done well. Which ones did he buy?
He bought. I mean, he tells me these things.
Bitcoin.
He bought
Ethereum,
Bitcoin
Solana.
to Solana, Ethereum, and then he had some others, not the stable ones, but some of them. So he made some money, came out.
Oh, so you're doing a bit of trading as well.
Yeah, a little bit,
Very
not too
volatile.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
he's still doing it. This is
still doing it. He's still. So thank you for that. That was what? When was COVID? That's 5 years ago.
Yeah,
5 years ago.
But he must have done well because the price are shot up.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, what about this one? Everyday person would say, yeah, short-term win, today's gain.
So what in terms of what short-term wins?
Mm.
One of the secrets of success, which people, in terms of investing or business, is the compounding effect.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you start off small and you follow that system consistently, it will compound. It will compound. My real estate business, my investments I look at the numbers and go, really? What did I do? Yes, I
Look
added
back
value.
and you say, what
does
happen?
Yeah,
Because you're very methodological. You're not somebody who rushes into something.
No.
So you ask good questions. Yeah, what about this? And then you go and think about it, etc. But then you'll do it.
Yeah,
and you
I'll
do
take
it.
the
Other
action.
people don't do it, right? So you do it, and then what I heard was then you then try the same thing but bigger.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be from here to here. It could be just the next step,
Exactly.
and then the next step.
Yeah.
And so because of the compounding, do you really care how long it takes? I mean, you do obviously, but you're not somebody who says, I need to get there tomorrow.
For me, for the last 20 odd years, it's been two things. The strategy was very clear. One was capital appreciation and cash flow.
Cash flow.
Those
in that order?
No, cash flow first. So those are the two things.
Yeah.
So if I'm investing in it, if I'm investing in a piece of real estate, or whatever, does it have to have the capacity to appreciate? Does it have the appreciate? Yeah, and it has got a cash flow from day one. It's got a cash flow. Doesn't cash flow, not interested. I've had lots of opportunities. Why would I take money out of my pocket to fund this? It's got to be funding me.
Nice. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so we've almost finished, but we want to remind everybody, right? Set yourself up for a success. You've got to have a plan.
Yeah.
And the best, you teach this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the Millionaire Mind Intensive. We have this money management calculator where we have to make sure that our money coming in is allocated in the right way because, well, more than anybody, right? So when the money comes in, don't just have it sitting in one bank account.
That's right.
Allocated to one. And one of the things has got to be, well, what are some of the things? What are some of the things allocated?
What I learned from T. Harv Eker, he wrote the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Great book. I mean, his program, The Millionaire Mind Intensive, saved my life, not only financially, but I think it saved my relationship. It got my mindset around doing things the right way. So the whole thing was very good. So he has what's called, in terms of money management system, it's called a JARS system. And the JARS system is broken down into 6 buckets or 6 jars. And the first one he calls your financial freedom account. So any money you get in, 10% goes into your financial freedom account. That's there for you to invest or start a business or do things like that.
So we've slightly changed it.
You've changed it a little bit.
We've changed it in the sense that we are going to put a little bit more in there, like 15%.
Good.
But listen, go and check it out. Start with our money management calculator.
Yes.
The link is in the chat below. And the final thoughts, what kind of a summary of everything. We've got failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to summarize everything that you said, I'm going to give it a go first. Something about leadership, the buck stops here. You've got to keep developing yourself. A business can't grow as much as you. So that's one thing. But then the one thing that keeps coming back is get to the root cause of what is it? What challenge, what problem does your customer really have?
Mm-hmm.
What would you add to that?
In whatever business you get into or investments you get into, there's going to be a learning curve. And one thing I've discovered after studying so many champions in business, champions in athletics, champions in celebrities, martial arts, is they take 100% responsibility. They just take 100% responsibility. In other words, they're not pointing fingers at other people. They just saying, how do I get better? How do I improve in this? How do I?
It's the only thing you can actually control.
It's your exactly. So the moment you start taking responsibility, you're not looking externally anymore. And this is a big lesson for me, because for years when I was failing and things weren't going right in my money, in my business, in my relationship, it's like, actually, once I started taking responsibility, that's when things started to change.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, scary, but no one wants to point a finger at themselves, but it starts with.
Yeah, it's scary or incredibly exciting, because once you say, well, if that's the case, let's go.
Yeah. Then you can go. Now you got agency. Now you can do something about it.
Well, I tell you what, I told you, the one and only Mac Attram. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. That was a good chat. That was a good conversation.
That was a good chat.